Good day, everyone. Welcome to my class again. Good to see you again. Today we are in for a new topic, and not new per se, but continuation of our concept on energy. Today we'll be looking at an aspect which is refers to as energy store. Energy store, and our learning objective for today is going to, we have three basic learning objectives. Number one, the definition. We're going to look at the definition of energy. Then number two, we're going to look at how energy store, the concept of energy store. Then to also explain the different types of energy that we have. And so we go straight into the first one, which is energy store. Now, but by the way, before we go into energy store, let's look at energy. Let me remind you of, is anyone there that want to remind me of what energy is? Okay, don't bother. I will tell you. Energy is the ability to do work. I know you must have heard that before. Energy is the ability to do work. The ability to do work is what is defined as energy. So now, let's now go into the next one, energy store. You must have heard of stores. Even at home, you have a store where you store the food stuff and all that. And in most homes, the food store is always very close to the kitchen, because the kitchen is a processing house where food are prepared for consumption in the family. So it will store the food there so that for easy access. So also, the energy that we discuss in physics, they are stored somewhere. And that is the concept I want to bring to your knowledge today. Number one, energy is stored in objects. It's basic. When a change happens within a system, it's a system. A system is an object or a group of objects that interact. And so when you hear the word, because I'll be making mention of system. So when you hear the word system, it doesn't require, you having a machine, big machine, then it becomes a system. No, an object, a single object, or a group of objects that interact. That's a system. And so energy is stored in objects. For example, you take an apple, there's energy there. You take a loaf of bread to consume, to eat for your breakfast, there's energy embedded there. And what kind of energy is that? The type of energy in food is chemical form of energy. And so energy is stored in objects. When a change happens with a system, energy is transferred between objects or between stores. Now, what's the store? The store in every object is where the energy is kept, just like your store at home, where foodstuffs and every of those other stuffs are kept. So also, the object that has an energy, that contains energy, they have a store where those energies are stored. And so, when we talk about store, we're talking about energy, where energy is stored. So now, you also remember the principle of conservation of energy, which states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can only be transferred from one store to another. And so when you have, for example, electrical form of energy, now you connect your wire to the source of electrical energy. Then you attach your bulb to the, to the socket where you're supposed to put your bulb. As you switch on the electrical energy means, now the bulb will come up. Now the bulb gives you light. The bulb gives you heat. And so it means that energy is transferred from the electrical store to what? To the light. That is why you can see the bulb coming up to lighten, to illuminate the house. And so energy, every energy source has a store where the energy is stored. And so there is a principle that, guides the way energy is transferred. And that principle is what is known as the conservation of energy. It states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can only be transferred from one store to another. Is it clear? Okay, good. So now, this means that for a closed system is a system that does not really interact with doesn't interact with the surrounding. And so for a closed system, the total amount of energy is constant because there is no interaction, no exchange within the environment or outside the environment. So there are many different energy stores that object can have. Now, these energy stores, I'm going to show you from the note. You check the note, you will see the different energy store that we have. Number one, we have the first one, kinetic energy store. What forms of energy does that one store? Moving object. Kinetic energy is the energy associated with moving object. And so the kinetic energy store stores kinetic energy. Then we also have another one, gravitational energy store. Now, the gravitational energy store is for objects to gain energy in their gravitational potential store when they are lifted above the ground. Gravitational energy is the energy that is, an object possesses as a result of its height, the positioning. So now, the gravitational energy store is a store that houses that form of energy. Then elastic energy. Elastic energy is a form of energy possessed by an elastic body, a body that can be compressed and contract. It can contract and it can expand. There is compression and there is expansion. So such energy, they possess a store known as the elastic energy store. Then we have static objects that carries charge. We talk about electrostatic objects. There is an electrostatic store where the charge is stored. That form of energy is stored. Then we have the magnetic energy store. Now, those magnetic energy store, they are associated with magnetic objects. That is where they store their own energy. And so now we also have the chemical energy store. Like, for example, the example I made before, the food we eat contains chemical energy. And so all of these, they store that form of energy in their store. So every object has a store. Every object that possesses energy has a store. And so the form of energy possessed by that object is put into that store. So that is why we have those stores. Then we have the nuclear energy store. Those are atomic nuclei that releases energy from the nuclear store during nuclear reaction. When there is a nuclear reaction, they release their energy from their nuclear energy store. Then we have the thermal energy store. All objects objects have energy in their thermal store. That is, objects, the hotter the object, the more energy it has in the thermal store. So now, all of these are the various forms of energy store that we have. So every energy has a store. Every object that has an energy, it has a store where the energy is kept. And so this store is what releases the energy as at the time the energy is needed. And so we are discussing this for you to understand that every object that possesses an energy has a store where the energy is stored. And so I've given you this table. I'm going to send the table to you so that you have it in your note. You have the various forms of energy here and the description of the energy and the type of store possessed or that the energy, the object that has this energy, possesses. So now that is what we are in for today. Then I told you that these are the different forms of energy that we have, and these forms of energy, all of them without exception, they have their store where the energy is stored. And so you are going to give me 5 objects in your that you see around you, 5 objects that you see around you, and tell me the type of energy store possessed by those objects. Just any 5 objects. Any 5 objects. But before we go for today, do you have any question for me? Any question? Okay, no question? Good, good. So that is the assignment I am going to give you today. You are going to look around you. You're going to get 5 objects. And those 5 objects, you will tell me the energy store possessed by those objects that those objects has. So when you tabulate it this way, exactly this way, you are going to have the object, the type of energy, and the type of energy store that those objects has. So now, when you prepare it, we are going to discuss it before our next class. In the absence of any question, according to you, because you said there is no question, then we are going to stop here. By next week, when we'll be having our class again, or we are going to start from another topic. Thank you very much. I'll see you again next week.